Amen. Hey, Julie, I think this is probably yours, isn't it? It is? Yeah. All right. That's how into playing she was. She just whipped that thing right off. Good morning, and welcome, and happy Mother's Day to all to whom it may apply. And happy Sunday to everybody else. If you did not get a bulletin, and to you mothers as well, you can also have a happy Sunday, not just Mother's Day. If you didn't get a bulletin when you came in, John's got some of those if you want to grab one. I cannot believe we're all, like looking at halfway through May already. Things going on, obviously church this morning. We are not having any kind of evening activities tonight, so no youth group, no kids classes, no Bible study. Just on behalf of Mother's Day, so teenagers, take the night off and spend all of that time, effort, energy on pampering your mother. And taking care of her and treating her nice and polite and do something kind for your mom. That's just my I'm not going to say it's a recommendation. It's homework. Get it done. All right. Tuesday night at 6, we are going to have our Spiritual Spotters men's group. Guys, we're going to meet together. Before you leave today, fellas, if you're going to be here Tuesday night, let me know whether you think we could use just some Bible study time together, or if we need to do some work around here to just get some things done. Like I know we got some wiring and some things we need to get done, so just let me know what your preference is on that. Saturday morning at 8, Grain Valley is hosting a citywide garage sale, and I know that we have some people. This is not like we haven't been talking about this, but some folks from the church are going to come here and set up some things to sell as part of the garage sale. Not because it is for a fundraiser for the church, it's just a common place to come for people that don't live in Grain Valley. Come here, set up a table in a parking lot or something, and people will come by. If you would like to do that, that's totally up to you. It's a garage sale, so people are probably going to be standing outside at like 4 o'clock in the morning, as most people do. So just expect that. And also, if you're traveling around through Grain Valley Saturday, expect there to be just a lot of extra traffic and a lot of narrow roads because people will be parked all along the roads, and watch out for pedestrians and people on bicycles and electronic things and scooters and bikes and motorcycles. Just people are going to be everywhere, so just be careful and take your time. There is no garage sale deal that is worth somebody dying over. Just saying. June 5th is our next First Friday. It is the first of our 2 Foam Fun events. So we're going to need some volunteers for that. And that's going to be, again, we'll host it right out here in the parking lot, right behind this wall. We'll have a company come in, and they just have these giant foam cannons, and they pump just bubbles, little tiny, just like foam. And kids play, and they play music, and it's just fun. Adults can play too. I'm just going to tell you right up front. It's entirely possible if you want to. You might look a little weird, but that's us. I mean, that's kind of who we are. If you want to participate, you can. If you want to just wade in there after your kids and try to keep a leash on somebody to make sure that you can find them in the foam. We, last year, found just random shoes that didn't match, just like one shoe here or there that we sat out for weeks until nobody came back and claimed it, so I finally just threw it in the trash. If you're going to participate, if your kids are going to come participate in that, I would suggest maybe a dry shirt to put on after they're done playing, and maybe shorts too, just a whole outfit, and a towel, or 6. And that's so that'll be the first Friday of June, and it'll also be the first Friday of August. They're not doing one of these in July because of the proximity to the 4th of July, so those are coming up. And so just a couple other things that are not on your announcement sheet this morning. Vincent Ajusi called me this morning from Uganda on my way here, just to say to all the ladies in the church that he, all the way from Uganda, wishes you a happy Mother's Day. So he was thinking about you this morning as well. They had already finished church. So he's just a very kind and loving man, and I call him my brother. He calls me he refers to me as his kid's Uncle Chris, and so always asks me how Mom's doing, because he has a very Ugandan British accent. It's so funny because they were a British colony for a long time. And then Rose brought some tomatoes and pepper plants in this morning. They are specific types of tomatoes, but they are mystery peppers. So she can tell you the types of tomatoes. There's one specifically she said is the best, and it's named something Rose, which I think is appropriate. Of course, she's going to think it's the best. And there's 3 or 4 little pepper plants that she says probably are spicy. That's part of the mystery. So we've got most of the makings of salsa growing in the foyer right now. So there's not a ton of those. There's 8 or maybe 12 tomato plants and 3 or 4 pepper plants. So grab those on your way out if you'd like some of those. And thank you, Rose. And if you need more, talk to Rose. So, or anybody else, if you have a bunch of plants growing somewhere that are church appropriate to bring in to share. Do so, especially Saturday. You could bring them Saturday and give them away, try to sell them as part of the garage sale. And then you could leave them in here, but if you leave them in here for too long, they will die. I promise. Because nobody's going to be in here to take care of them this week. All right, elementary kids, you guys may go ahead today with Miss Sarah. Tony, you playing rough this morning? You the heavy? All right. He works with concrete, so he knows where to bury the bodies. All right. All right. So good morning again. It's a great day to be together in church, and so you guys are my favorite people to be with. Really are. I get along pretty well with the people at work. I love my family, but you guys really are my favorite people to be around. So thanks. I appreciate that, Scott. So it's Mother's Day, and it's almost like an obligation that they teach you in pastor school that you have to preach about Mother's Day when it's Mother's Day, I guess. And so I'm going to do that, but y'all know me. There's nothing normal about the way that I do most things around here, especially the way that I preach. So we're going to start off today with just a review of commandment number 5. Now, I know we went through the commandments last week, but we're going to review commandment number 5, and this is kind of our jumping off point for this. And Exodus 20, verse 12 says, "Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee." And then Paul in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1 through 3 says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth." Now, I know parents love to quote this. Dads especially love to quote this. It says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and your mother, because if not, you may not live long." Right? But it does say this is the first commandment that has a promise in it. And so from the 10 commandments that we went through last week, this is the first one that has something else attached to it. So commandment number 5 says, "Honor your father and your mother, so that your days will be long upon the land which the Lord your God is going to give you." People have asked, what is the secret to a long and healthy life? Well, long is one thing, healthy is a completely different thing. You usually have to have a healthy life to have a long life, but how many of you guys have ever known one of those people that drinks bourbon, eats bacon, and smokes cigarettes all the way until they die at 112? Right? It's just the craziest thing, and it's genetics is most of that. But you also have to understand that this commandment is still in the Bible, and it's still valid because God is still God. He's the same God today that he was when he chiseled out the verse in Exodus, and that is, honor your father and your mother, and you'll live a long life. Now that may seem strange, and that's not limited necessarily to just the children of Israel or even just Christian people. I think that God honors children that honor their father and their mother regardless of their culture. Because think about it. Look at other cultures that have no Christian influence whatsoever, no Jewish influence whatsoever. And there's people that live a very long time. And I think a lot of it is because they hold this honor towards their parents in a way that we don't hear necessarily. All right? And so we're going to start there. And so my question is, as kind of the title of my message today, what is an honorable mother? You've probably heard lots of messages preached for Father's Day or for other times about how an honorable man. This guy was when he died, he was an honorable man. That he was somebody who deserved honor, and because he did things right. But what does it mean to be an honorable mother? Because I think we miss this sometimes. Because mothers, we have a tendency to put in a different category from fathers. Because and if you've seen kind of the anecdotes and maybe even some of the, stereotypes of, you go to a ladies' retreat and everybody's putting stickers on cups and it's flowers and they love each other and, oh, you moms are doing great. And it's so encouraging. And then you go to a men's retreat and it's like the pastor is hitting everybody with a stick the whole time because it's, you got to be a better dad. You got to be a better father. You got to be a better husband. And those things kind of happen. Well, today is the day, ladies. Because my question to you is, how do you live the life of an honorable mother? An honorable woman. What does that mean? What does that look like? Because if children are supposed to honor their father and their mother, then I think that means that not just our fathers, but our mothers need to live an honorable life. And you need to live in a way that your children can honor you. And so I'm of course going to go to Proverbs chapter 31. So if you want to go ahead there and we're going to camp out there the rest of the day. I'm going to approach Proverbs 31 from a little different perspective today. Because obviously we know that Proverbs 31 in the second half is all of the description of finding a virtuous woman. All right, and that virtuous woman there is a woman that has virtue, but that's the virtue that causes her to be honorable. And so I'm going to approach this from a little different tack. And so I want to start, though, in Proverbs chapter 31, verse 1, with a little reminder. And that is, these are the words of King Lemuel, which was an honorific title for Solomon. It was like chosen of God, I think is what Lemuel stands for. And it says, this is the prophecy that his mother taught him. So everything in Proverbs chapter 31 is a lesson that Solomon is recording that he was taught by his mother. And I think sometimes we skip over that because I want you to remember something. This is King Solomon, son of King David. Who was his mother? Bathsheba was his mother. Okay? And so I want you to think about the kind of predicament Bathsheba found herself in before Solomon was even born with King David and how that whole relationship started and how that went, and the fact that this was an interesting woman to be describing the necessity of finding a virtuous woman. Okay, I am not going to try to victim shame somebody that's 3,000 years old. Because it was culturally common for women to be bathing on the roof of their house. So it's not that Bathsheba was standing up there trying to attract attention. It was just a common thing to do. And we have no input whatsoever from Scripture to say how she responded to King David's advances. We have no idea what her heart process and action was in the whole process of having this adulterous affair with King David, who was a very powerful man and probably had a lot of manipulation, seems strong, but manipulation to try to coerce her into this kind of relationship. I don't know whether she was into it. I don't know whether she was not into it. It doesn't give us any context for Bathsheba because David is the aggressor in all of this, and he's the one that Nathan called out as being sinful. And so Bathsheba is the one that was teaching Solomon later on in life, this is how you find the right type of woman. Not like your dad, who found all sorts of women. But remember, Solomon didn't exactly stick to just that one special lady that he talks about in the book of Song of Solomon. He found thousands of other special ladies to hang out with. Maybe he was just doing his research to try to find the perfect virtuous woman. I don't know. It turned out poorly for Solomon. But he records here at the end of the book of Proverbs because he is writing a book of knowledge and wisdom to pass along to his children, to his sons specifically. And he says, boys, listen, this is a lesson that my mother taught me. This is a lesson I'm going to teach you. This is what you're looking for when it comes to finding the right woman to marry. And while this is great information and knowledge to be passed on to our young men, ladies, this is where you need to live today with me to say, okay, how do you follow these specific principles and be an honorable woman? And it's not going to be flowers and stickers on cups today. I'm just saying. I'm going to get after it. So, starting with number one, Proverbs 31, verse 10. Number one, she is an impressive wife. So ladies who are married, ladies who have children, ladies who are none of those things, I want you to understand the first thing that she went into, that Bathsheba went into with Solomon to make sure that he understood what he should be looking for, that he needed to teach his sons to look for, was a woman who was not going to be solely focused on her children. Needed to be, first and foremost, not just a good wife, an impressive wife. Proverbs 31 verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? Because obviously Solomon looked everywhere. For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. So ladies, here's the first thing. I want to just kind of pause there, because the point that he's making here is, listen, if you are going to be an honorable mother, if you're going to be an honorable woman, the first thing that you need to focus on is, how are you going to be an honorable wife? Now, some of you are not married. I get that totally. I understand. Please understand that my point is to try to encourage and help you along the way, so that when you do, should you ever choose to get married later on, that you have a good basis and a place to start. The first place that you need to focus your attention as a woman who wants to be a good example for your children, who wants to be a good mother, is show them how to treat their husband. Show them as young men how they should be treated by their wife. What to look for. And this doesn't come just from classroom instruction. This doesn't come from just being told. It comes from demonstration. Because it says, A, her price is far above rubies. This virtuous woman is more valuable than treasure. And potentially more rare, because there's a search that goes into this, because he asks, who can find one? Who can find one? Because she's rare, she's valuable, she's priceless. And it doesn't just say that her husband can trust her. Don't read into that he's, oh yeah, her husband can trust her. No, it says the heart of her husband doth safely trust in her. She keeps his heart safe. She protects his heart, not just her own, because I'm sure she's going to be protecting her own heart as well, but she looks out for the safety and the care and the concern and the precaution over her husband's heart, knowing that his heart is fragile. We might have a big, giant, thick, impressive wall built around our hearts as men. I mean, because we do. Because we don't want it to get broken again, like that person and when you were 14 that broke your poor little teenage heart, right? Because we get jaded and we live behind these walls because we just don't want to let anybody in. But in this case, it says the heart of her husband doth safely trust in her. He has no reason to fear that she is going to damage his heart in one little way. He is safe with her. And that's because of her, not because of him. That's because of her action, her heart action, her desire, her wants, is to make sure that this man that God has put into her life, he has given her stewardship over this dude, that he is safe and that he is protected, and that is his heart that is protected. Guys, do you think we need women to protect our body? Not really. It should be the other way around, right? But our heart is so fragile and so easily damaged that we build it up behind all these walls and all this scar tissue and all the trauma and all the other things that we've been through, because we're just never going to let our heart get hurt again ever, until this one special woman comes along and she's like, listen, you're spending so much time protecting your own heart that you're blocking everybody out. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to trust me with your heart. I want you to trust me that I am going to hold on to your heart, and I'm going to keep it safe. I'm going to keep it protected. I'm going to hold on to it. And you can trust in your heart that you know that I'm going to do this because I'm this particular type of person. And then it says in the next part of the sentence, so that he shall have no need of spoil. He's never going to need to be spoiled, and he's never going to spoil. So there's a couple different ways. So we talk about food that has spoiled, and that's a bad thing, right? You don't want your food to get spoiled. But we also talk about especially in the Old Testament, the concept of spoil as the treasures that are gathered from a victory, right? And so when he's writing here, he's like, so that when his heart is safely trusting in his wife, this precious woman who has focused her attention on caring for his heart, he will have no need of conquest and victory and finding some other treasure to be desired because his heart is satisfied with his wife. He's not going to have any need to be spoiled by some other woman. He's not going to have any need to have any other conquest because this woman is taking such good care of his heart that he just trusts that his heart is safe. He's not looking for validation from some other place. He's not looking for importance from some other woman, from some other place, because he's got all of that because she has spent all of her time, not all of it, but a good portion of her time taking care of her husband's heart. You know what this doesn't let her do? Take advantage of his heart. This doesn't let her twist and bend and manipulate and control and gaslight his heart. It's genuine and it's simple and it's honest and it's, I love and I'm going to protect you for you, not I'm going to protect you so you can keep taking care of me. And there's a huge gap, I think, a lot of times in the way we teach young ladies nowadays to make sure they find a good man who's so many inches tall, he's got so much money in the bank, he's got a particular skin tone, he's got to make sure that he dresses well and he's funny and he's this perfect unicorn of a man, when they are trying to get something out of this instead of finding someone that they can genuinely love and pour themselves into to care for, because their whole focus becomes on him and taking care of him, because when she does that, he will not ever need to look for anybody else ever anywhere. I'm just saying. Verse 12, she will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. And nowadays, I mean, I see so many stupid videos online nowadays of husbands and wives playing pranks on each other. Drives me absolutely nuts, and I think it's the dumbest thing you could possibly do in your relationship, because it's only going to go so far before somebody really gets their feelings hurt or they get physically hurt. If that's your family, then y'all do your thing, but at some point it's going to become a competition where who can get the last laugh, who can be the best, at which point the only thing you get to say is, "Ha ha, I beat my spouse." Doesn't seem right at all. You did what to you beat your wife? No, in a game. We were just playing it. You beat your wife? You beat your husband? Where in the Bible, anywhere, are we ever instructed to have a superiority or a flex or some sort of defeat over our spouse? It doesn't say that anywhere. In fact, it says the opposite. It says, in humility, be their servant, not be their dominator, not be their superior. There's nothing about the Bible says that about your relationship. Nothing. You want to try to outdo each other? You really want to try to outdo each other? Outgive each other to each other. Outlove each other. Outsupport each other. Outhelp each other. Until it gets obnoxious. I mean, that's the best kind of parenting and marriage, I think, is when your marriage is so obnoxious that your kids are like, guys, stop. Right? Because it's like, I'm just sitting on the couch watching TV. I think I'm thirsty. Hey, honey, would you get up and get me something to drink? No, that is not how it should happen. That is not what should happen ever. Sorry, guys. Sorry, ladies. This goes both ways. Unless you're sick or hurt or injured and immobile, which is totally understandable, maybe it's, feeling a little parched. I'm going to get up, because I need the exercise, and I'm going to walk in the kitchen, I'm going to get myself something to drink. Before I leave, what am I going to do? Hey, honey, can I get you anything while I'm up? Do you need anything? Do you need a bottle of water? Are you hungry? Are you do any kind of medications at this point? Is there any? You need a pillow? How can I serve you? What can I do for you? You want to really try to outdo each other? Do that. Why? So that you can trust your heart with the other person, because you know that they're looking out for you and not looking out for themselves. I've tried to give this homework to people who are getting married, that they come to me and ask me, well, Pastor Chris, can you give us some marriage counseling? Yes. My whole marriage counseling is this: go to an all-you-can-eat buffet, but don't get any food for yourself. What do you mean? Just the two of you, go to an all-you-can-eat buffet, you get her plate, you get his plate. Without asking, without any kind of input, just you serve him and you serve her. When her plate gets empty, go get some more. Pay attention, because if she doesn't eat something that you brought her, don't get her any more of it. Pay attention ahead of time to find out what kind of stuff does she like. Not, and ladies, this is more for you than the guys, not just what do you think he needs to eat tonight. Come back with a plate full of vegetables and he just sits there and is like, aw. I love you. Right? No, it's find out, learn, but then serve. And when the person's drinking, you know how a waiter does this, right? A good waiter, good waitress, good server at a restaurant, notice what's in your glass is getting low, not when it's empty. And then go ahead and bring you another one. But then what do you expect from your spouse? Well, I expect to just have to get it myself. Okay. Well, maybe this is where, ladies, you need to teach your children. Girls, this is the way that you are supposed to take care of people. Not just your husband, other people in general. You need to take care of people. Guys, you need to find you a woman that's going to be concerned about taking care of everybody else over the top of herself. Ladies, how many meals did you eat that were hot after you had a baby? How many years was it before you had a hot meal? Like 19? Are you still getting cold meals because you're taking care of everything and everybody else? It's kind of funny. When we go to like a holiday meal, especially with Susan's family, her mother, she's a great cook. And she's very attentive and very hospitable, but she gets so particular about making sure the food is just right. And she's very critical about her own food. Everybody's like, no, this is the best I've ever had. She's like, oh, because I don't know. It just doesn't, I don't think it tastes just right. No, it's great. We love it. It's wonderful. But then she spends the entire meal fixing and cutting and doing and cleaning and putting stuff and making sure everybody's got what they need. And then everybody else is done. I'm like, oh, that was a great meal. She's like, did you enjoy it? I'm like, oh, yeah, it was so good. Did you enjoy it? Oh, I haven't eaten anything yet. Well, okay, well, sit down. I'm going to bring you a plate of food. Oh, no, we've got dishes to do now. No, sit down and eat. Right? Because she gets so into making sure that everyone else is taken care of. And guess what? That's not wrong. It's just not wrong. But at some point, Dad needs to stand up and go, hey, I got this. Sit down and enjoy your meal. Ladies, I mean, just tell me how wrong this would be for you put all the work and effort into a big Thanksgiving meal and you got 30 people in your house and everybody's using the good plates and all the nice silverware and everything else. And after dinner, all the guys stand up and go, ladies, go sit down and have a good time. We're going to clean up. I mean, all the ladies are like, yeah, buddy. I'm like, okay. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not even telling guys they should. I'm just saying, imagine what this would be like. Because if it's, well, I'm going to cook it if you clean it. And that's when the guys are like, we're grilling steak because I'm not doing that. Oh, yeah. Right? But at some point, we have to understand that being an impressive wife looks different than what society is trying to show you being an impressive wife looks like. Now, it's not being a slave either. It's not being a servant either, except that it is your willing heart to serve, because it only works, and Father's Day is in June, so guys, just get ready. It only works if you are serving each other. It cannot be one way. Proverbs 31 again, verse 23 says, her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. What does this have to do with a wife being a virtuous woman, that her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land? Because that's just kind of a random thing. It seems like out of nowhere. But here's the deal. Her husband is comfortable with her taking care of business so that he can go take care of city business while she's taking care of home business. He can go take care of public things while she's taking care of private things. He can trust that everything at home is going to be done correctly so that he can go do things in public for the benefit of everyone else in town. Not just himself, not just his own family. And you want to talk about a good verse for Christian men to find themselves into politics? That's it. But how do you think any Christian man is ever going to be able to be in politics if he can't trust his wife? I mean, that's just, I'm not saying you should run for office, but I'm saying you should definitely pay attention to what's going on in your town. Your local elections and your local people are much more important to your daily life than anything going on in the federal government, ever. Even in the state. Maybe you should run for school board. Maybe you should run for city council. Maybe you should run for mayor. Maybe you should run for a county executive. Good Lord knows we could use one of those. Okay? Maybe you should run for a state Senate seat. Maybe you should do those. If God's ever been trying to kind of lean you towards that direction, maybe it's time to follow. But you got to, ladies, this is where it's important. You've got to make sure that you're taking care of everything else so that he can go do that for the benefit of everyone else. Because we've got to stop keeping our eyes solely focused on what's going on in my living room, and we got to look at taking care of everything and everybody and taking on a much broader and bigger scope, even though for some of you that's like, I can't even handle what's going on at my house, let alone how am I going to take care of all of this? Well, start living under biblical principles and you'd be surprised how much time you have and effort and energy you can put into serving everyone else and not just focusing on yourself. Can't wait till Father's Day, right, guys? Proverbs 12:4, a virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bones. All right. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband. Somebody asked me one time, well, when I was much younger, Chris, what's the first thing you notice about a woman? It's a trap. The answer I came up with is whatever she wants me to notice first. If she's wearing just like drab gray sweatshirt, sweatpants, but her hair looks like she has spent 3 hours on it, what are you going to notice first? Her hair. And that it probably doesn't match the gray sweatsuit. Maybe she's on her way to her wedding and doesn't want to get her big poofy white dress messed up yet, so she's got her hair and nails and makeup and everything done, but she just hasn't taken the time to put on the big dress yet. Back off. Give her some space. Stop being so judgy. All right? If she's walking through the mall half dressed with a bunch of skin showing, what are you going to notice first? You're going to notice that. It's not that you're focusing on a specific thing. It's like all that. You're just going to notice that, wow, well, that's just a lot going on. If she's wearing bright pink giant heels, you're probably going to notice the bright pink giant heels because they're going to stand out. Right? If you see somebody, if you see a man walking through a hardware store wearing a crown on his head, what are you going to notice first? The crown, right? Yes, that he spent time at Burger King. But if it's an actual like regal, like a royalty crown of a king, and he's walking through Lowe's, you're probably going to notice the crown first, right? Because it's just going to be out of place. It's going to be unusual. A virtuous woman is her husband's crown. The first thing people may notice about you guys is whether or not your wife is a virtuous woman. Or, second half of the verse, or does she make you ashamed? She's either virtuous, somewhere in the middle, or causing you shame. And if you're causing your husband shame, where's that going to live in his system? It says it'll be rottenness in his bones. So you'll either be a crown or you'll be a spoil. Back to use that same word. His bones will be rotten because you have made him ashamed. Now, that's not necessarily that's not saying you've made him embarrassed. There's a huge difference between being embarrassed and being ashamed. Big difference. I probably embarrass my wife all the time as we're walking around in certain places because I may be walking through that same Lowe's or Home Depot and I'm wearing a Voltron t-shirt. Or something with Legos on it. You guys have probably seen these shirts, you know what I'm talking about. And she's like, I can't with this guy. She never does that. She's great. But let a certain song come on over the radio in the store. And then all of a sudden, it's karaoke time at Walmart. But a lot of times, we're singing this song together. Right? Push on the cart. Hey. Hey. Right? But we've kind of grown into this rhythm. But saying something embarrassing is one thing. Doing something to cause your husband shame it's gonna get into his bones. I've had an injury before on my knee where I had a bruise on my femur, like on the head right where it hits my knee. They hit so hard it bruised my femur. That is a horrible, painful injury because you can't do anything about it except limp. If you get something in your bones, if you have a bone marrow issue, if you have a broken bone that starts to get septic, you'll die. And ladies, I just want you to understand that being virtuous is like your husband wearing a crown, but causing him shame is like putting a disease in his bones. And I want to make sure that you realize this takes work. This is not something you can just passively do. Proverbs 18:22. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor of the Lord. And I think he's trying to imply here, it's if you're finding the wife, you're finding that wife, you're finding this particular virtuous wife, that you have found a good thing and you have obtained favor of the Lord. Guys, you got a good wife? Good answer. Let's try that again. Guys, you got a good wife? That's what I thought. Then you have obtained favor from the Lord because God has given you her. But the implication is because you can't handle it. So God needed to give you her so that she can. Right? Because you need the help. You need the support. You need this other person in your life to make sure that you don't just implode and find yourself in a puddle on your couch with just one piece of furniture and a TV and a remote control GameStop system eating pizza rolls all day, every day. You need a woman in your life. I knew us in college. All right? There was one person on the planet. One person on the planet. He lived where all of his food was taken care of. He had nothing but animals to hang out with and talk to. It was beautiful weather all the time. He never had to do laundry. Ever. Everything was taken care of and prepared. It was just him communing with God and God communing with him. And I don't know how long that lasted, but I'm sure it was absolutely amazing. And then God said, son, you need help. It ain't good for you to be alone. You need somebody else to do this with you. Now, I'm glad he did, because if not, it would still just be Adam hanging out in the garden by himself 6,000 years later, all alone. And none of us would be here. But he said, I'm going to give you a helpmeet. Not a second-class citizen, not a servant, certainly not a slave. I'm going to give you someone that is the yin to your yang to make sure that you guys can complete each other, to make sure that everywhere you have a deficit, she is strong, and everywhere she has a deficit, you are strong, so that you can carry this entire load together for the rest of your lives in harmony and unity. You're taking care of her, looking out for her. She's taking care of you, looking out for you. You're listening to her when her intuition has spidey senses going off, and she's looking at you carrying heavy things. That's how this is supposed to work. And when you find somebody like that, fellas, you've found a good thing and you've obtained favor from the Lord. But what does that mean, ladies? You can't just sit around waiting for God to just smack you on the head with the Bible and turn you into this person. It's going to take work. Number 2, she's a hard worker. Proverbs 31, starting in verse 13. She seeketh wool and flax, worketh willingly with her hands. The key word there is willingly. She works willingly, not because she has to. Verse 14, she is like a merchant's ship. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is still night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. She considereth a field, and buyeth it, and with the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. That's a lot. This is the least lazy woman I have ever heard described ever. Why? Because she gets up while it's still dark to make sure that everybody else has got food and all the things they need for the day. She works all day with her hands. She goes out and shopping to buy things and makes investments and does all these financial things. And then it says her candle doesn't go out at night. Not because she left it burning, because she's still working. She's lit her candle and she's still working at night. She'll sleep eventually. Some of you guys are like, man, I think I finally found my favorite passage of the Bible, because you're working yourselves into the ground, because you get up at 4 and you go to bed at midnight, and you do this every night because you've consumed yourself with so many things. Well, I want you to notice the things that she was consumed with. It was all work, and it was all profitable for her family and for her household, and it was not her own personal hobbies. Maybe she liked spinning yarn. Maybe she liked planting fruit and trimming her vineyard. Maybe she liked meal prepping. Maybe she liked all those things, but all of those things had some other benefit besides just her intrinsic value. She has invested herself in making sure that she gets up off of her lazy butt and works all day, starting before the sun comes up and finishing after the sun goes down, which is really tough to do in July. A little easier in December, because we live in the northern hemisphere. Proverbs 31:24, she maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchants. She's building a business, she's working, she's doing these things. Now some of you guys might say, well, Chris, I can't do all that stuff. But you go to work every day, don't you? A lot of you do. You earn money for your family. You bring things in. You make sure that all the things that your family needs is taken care of, because it's not just that your husband is doing so well that he's making all this money that you can just kick back and let him treat you well and pamper you while you just sit around, as the saying went back in the day, eating bonbons and watching soap operas. That's not how this is supposed. That's not a godly way of doing this. What kind of reputation would you rather have? For being really well-versed in every new TikTok trend, or being a hard-working, providing, soulful woman that makes sure that her family has everything they need? Which of those do you think would be the better, more honorable, more honorable way of doing things? Honestly. I figure if I'm throwing TikTok trends in, I might as well, right? Okay. It's a safe space. I'm sorry. The one teacher in the room's like, stop! It burns! All right. Luke chapter 12, starting in verse 41, says this. Then Peter said unto him, Lord, speakest thou this parable unto us, or even to all? He's like, are you just preaching this to us, or are you preaching this to everybody? And the Lord said, who then is that faithful and wise steward whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season? Blessed is that servant whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Of a truth I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he hath. I threw this in here because the same kind of thing is, this woman is responsible in Proverbs to make sure that her family has meat to eat. Not just food, meat. Because they didn't have refrigerators and freezers back then. Making sure your family had fresh meat meant something. It meant a lot of times you might have to be the one to go outside in the yard and kill an animal and clean it and cook it and prepare it and make sure that it's safe to eat, or at least get it done by her maidservants. But then it says she also took really good care of her maidservants. She took care of the other women that worked for her and made sure that they had everything they needed when they got ready to do their work, because she then trusted in the people below her and beneath her to make sure that they were doing the things that they were expected to do. I don't think any of you have servants just standing around waiting for something to do. But a lot of you have kids that need to learn these same concepts. They need to learn the same concepts. And so what does that look like? And it's weird because you can do this very subtly, even with the people that you work with. So I started a job a couple of years ago, not the one I have now, but a couple of years ago. And on during my first week there, I wasn't sure about the whole, what was going on as far as lunches and things like that. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm salary, so I got time. I can just go somewhere and eat lunch and come back. And every day I would leave, I would ask my 3 coworkers, hey, I'm going to go get some lunch. Can I bring you anything? And they looked at me like I was nuts. What? Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to come back. Dude, if you're not leaving, can I bring you something? Do you need anything? You need a drink? You want some French fries? I mean, can I provide transportation to something that you may need or want that's not alcoholic or something you inhale? All right? And they're like, yeah, sure. Could you bring me a Dr. Pepper? Cool, deal. Anybody else? No, I'm good. Okay. This went on for months. I would see them leave, and I would see them come back with stuff. See them leave, and I would see them come back for stuff. I would leave, and I would ask, can I bring you anything? Until finally, a few months later, I saw when I'm getting ready to leave, and she was like, oh, hey, Chris, can I bring you anything? And I'm like, nope. Just big smile on my face. I said, I'm good, but thank you for asking. It takes time, and it takes consistency, and it takes diligence to do this. But if you make it a habit of your own, you will teach that habit to everyone else. I know parents, it seems strange because you're raising your own little servants, but that's not always how it works. Because if you want them to be servants, you want them to learn how to serve others, you also have to show them how to serve others by serving them. You demonstrate it for them. Dad, in the middle of the 4th quarter of a very important football game, and you get thirsty, and it's just about time for that special play, you get up because you're thirsty. Hey, I'm going to the kitchen to get anything to drink. Does anybody want anything? Hopefully you don't have 13 people in your house that all decide they're thirsty at the same time. And they're like, oh yeah, can you bring me one of these? And they got, hang on, yes sir, anything else? Okay, you want ice with that? Okay, good. But maybe it's, I'm going to go get something to drink, and I notice that my children who are 8 don't have anything to drink. Hey, while I'm up, do you want me to get your cup? Do you want me to get your water? Do you want me to get your drink? Are you hungry? Do you need another snack? Just like a waiter would do at a table. And they're going to look at you like you're crazy. Who are you? I'm your father. Father. Why are you asking me what I want? Because you're important to me and I love you and I'm here to serve you, and I want to make sure that you learn that that's just how we do things here. Huh? Learn later, drink now, plays on. Just, what do you want? Do you want anything? No? Yes or no? Yeah, no. You don't know. I'll bring a couple of things, you can pick one. I did that to Susan one time. She was sick, and I'm like, okay, well, what can I bring you? She's like, can you just bring me some juice? And I said, that's very vague. She's like, I just want some juice. I'm like, okay. 14 bottles of juice later, I got her one of every juice. Every one of them I could find at this one particular store that had organic, no process, whatever, juice. And I'm like, I don't know which one she wants, because I put all this stuff up on the counter, and they're like, thirsty? I say, nope. My wife wants juice. She's like, well, does she want all this juice? I don't know. She just wants juice. She didn't say what kind of juice. She just wants juice, and I know she likes a lot of different kinds of juices. She might want this juice today, but she might want that one tomorrow. I don't care. I want to make sure that she has what she wants. Am I right, or I'm not making this story up. This is a true story. 14 bottles of juice. We had juice for weeks. And in that process, she found out there's a few of these that she really liked. And a few of these that were like, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't like those either because it's from a plant. And so I'm like, okay, well, I know not to buy those anymore, and now I'll just remember to buy these. For now, until her tastes and mood changes and she wants the one that she didn't like before. And you know what? That's fine. Because my plan and my heart was to make sure that she was taken care of, to make sure that she got the things that she wanted, that she knew her body needed, to make sure that she could heal correctly and get back on her feet to do the things that I know God has placed in her hands to do. And that's supposed to go both ways. Ladies, it's not about you just sitting around waiting for your husband to bring you stuff, or sitting around waiting for your kids to bring you stuff, or sitting around waiting for anybody to do anything for you. It is, do it yourself. And while you're at it, do it for everybody else. I promise June's coming because I'm going to tell the guys the same thing. Do it yourself. Don't sit around expecting, wow, I've been at work all day. What do you think she's been doing? Sitting around all day? You wearing clean clothes? Congratulations. She's been at work all day. You know how I can tell? Yeah, clean socks. Congratulations. Well, I work really hard for my body. Well, she works really hard with her mind. There's a big difference between those two things, so just take care of your wife. I just want to sit down for a few minutes. Okay. Set a timer. How many is a few minutes? Or are you like me? I'm just going to sit down for a few minutes. I'm just going to rest my eyes for a minute. Uh-huh. Hey, you need to get up so you can go to bed. What? Set a time. Give yourself 10 minutes when you get home. 10 minutes. And then ask yourself, when did she get 10 minutes alone without any responsibility? Or ladies, you've been home listening to that kid all day. Summer's coming. Shiloh was telling me she got 2 weeks of school left. Summer's coming. You get to go to work all day and have adult conversations. She's got to stay at home and listen to that all day. Maybe when you come home physically tired, you can turn on your emotional alertness at some point so she can turn hers down and go be physically tired too. Maybe she just needs to take 10 minutes and go for a walk. Maybe she needs to just take 10 minutes and go sit in a quiet room alone without anybody going, Mom, 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 stop it! If I wanted that, I'd get a cat, right? Had a cat. He died, remember? It's very traumatic for me. All right. But the thing is, at some point, take a break. That's fine. What have you been doing in your car, your truck, on your way home from work for the last 45 minutes? I recommend this to guys as they're coming home from work if they have a very physically stressful or even a mentally stressful job. Pick a bridge you're going to drive across on your way home and plan ahead and say, all right, all of the gunk that I have been saving up all day, all of the garbage I had to wade through, all the customers I had to deal with, all of the things that I have been carrying as a weight in relationship to my job, I'm going to ball them all up, and as I drive across this bridge, I'm going to throw them out the window into the river, and then I'm going to drive home and give my wife and my family a fresh person. Aside from all of that. Ladies, Maybe you needed one time in the afternoon just before your husband gets home to stand in front of your kitchen sink. If you stay at home all day, some of you guys are going to drive across that same bridge on your way home. Do the same thing. I'm going to recommend it. But maybe you just need to stand in front of your kitchen sink and take that whole big ball of gunk and the kids and the bills and the trauma and the stress and the whatever you had to talk to your mom today, whatever it is, and you ball it up and you throw it in the garbage disposal and you run that thing for 5 or 6 seconds and just say, now it's gone. Okay. Hi, honey. How was your day? Do something physical to process this. But you got to be a hard worker. Proverbs 31:24, she makes fine linen and sells it. You know how hard it is to make linen? She delivers girdles unto the merchant. She makes finished goods. Now, she doesn't just make cloth. She makes finished goods to go sell in the marketplace. Not just the material. She's not just collecting material. She's actually combining those things. And then Jesus is like in Luke, how can you tell when you have a faithful and wise steward? Well, it's somebody that gets everything done. Because to whom much is given, much is required. And the one that gets it all done, you're going to reward them. And I put this in here because this is how men should be perceiving their wives. But wives, you have to perceive yourself also as productive and wise and a good steward and a hard worker to make sure that you are taking care of all those things so that your husband can trust that it's getting done so that he doesn't have to come home and walk in the door and then finish doing your job for you too. I mean, I'm guessing you're probably not going to go hang sheetrock with him at his job or climb up a 47-story elevator shaft. Or lift a 14,000-pound engine, or climb up a 30-foot ladder, or stand in one spot all day going. Some of you are like, oh, that sounds so refreshing. It is for the first, 20 minutes, Eugene? 20 minutes? After 11 hours, it's like. Number 3. Oh, she considers the needs of others first. Proverbs 31:20. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor. Yeah. She reaches forth her hands to the needy. She's not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. All right. First of all, ladies, this does not mean you have to dress poorly. She's making silk and purple coverings for herself that are like tapestries. This lady was decked out. She looked good in the middle of all of this. She's not just slobbing it around, hey, if you can't love me like this, you shouldn't be able to love me when I'm pretty. Well, you're pretty all the time. It's okay to look good doing it. Is it required? Of course not. Especially if you ask your husband, well, when I get dressed, what do you think makes me look pretty? Alcohol. Wow. Oh, good grief. Oh, so we're not having services tonight, so I'll be at the house later. Yeah, well, it's 3. Okay, 3 o'clock. Okay. But the thing is, it says in these first couple of verses that she's stretching out her hand to the poor. Right? She's trying to help the people that have less than her, and she's reaching forth her hands to the needy. It's not saying that she's giving them money. It says that she's reaching out to them to try to help them, to try to find some way to engage them. Maybe she's going to hire them, but she's doing something. She's not afraid to get her hands dirty with people that are of a lower estate than she is. She's not looking down her nose at those poor people. We can't interact with the poors, right? She's worried about how other people are, and she's not afraid of snow for her house. I think that's interesting. It's Israel. She's not afraid of the snow on behalf of her household. She might be afraid of snow for other reasons, but not because of her kids, not because of her house, because they're decked out with good clothes. She has made sure that her kids are prepared, her household, that's going to include all of her servants as well, have every supply that they need to make sure that they are going to be warm in the winter and make sure that they are not going to have any issues when they go out in the snow. She's not worried about the snow because she knows everybody's got the supplies and the clothes that they need. How is she not worried about it? She's the one that got it for them. I mean, but moms, how many times you ever spend a lot of money on a new coat for your kid with gloves and a hood and everything else and a hat and stocking cap and they go outside in shorts and a t-shirt anyway? No shoes, yeah. Right? And they're just out playing in the snow in their shorts and a t-shirt, and you're like, you're gonna die, you're gonna catch a cold, you're gonna get flu, you're gonna get frostbite, and they're just out having a good time. They're like, I bought you a coat. Yeah, but it's too hot. You mean it's too well insulated for you? You mean I got too good of a coat? Yes. The answer is yes, you got too good of a coat. Right? I just need like a hoodie. I got one kid wears a hoodie 365 days a year. It's cold outside, and shorts. Yeah, it's cold outside, shorts and a hoodie. It's 118 degrees outside, shorts and the same hoodie. I'm like, dude, aren't you hot? He's like, eh. Aren't you cold? Eh. Can you feel? Eh. Okay. But notice it says that she's looking out for the needy. She's looking out for her house. Oh, and by the way, she's also taking care of herself and her own clothing. But that's an interesting order. It's people that are outside that need things, people that are inside that need things, and then herself. Number 4, she has a good personal character. Proverbs 31, 25, and 26. Strength and honor are her clothing. And she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Strength and honor are her clothing. But I thought it was silk and purple. Well, it is. But it's also strength and honor because this is talking about her character. This is how she appears to people, not just what her physical appearance looks like, but how does she present herself? She presents herself with strength and honor. Can you imagine, ladies, if you were to ask some guy, some random dude, what's the first thing you noticed about me? You look like a strong, honorable woman. That's the first thing I noticed is you were a strong and honorable woman. First of all, you're probably going to go, right. Unless you are. I mean, think about that. This is her clothing. And she's going to rejoice in times to come because she realizes that it doesn't matter what she wears. It doesn't matter what kind of clothing she has on. If she is a woman of strength and a woman of honor, that's how you dress. I mean, it's not just that smile because you're never fully dressed without a smile. It is strength and honor. But you know what that requires? Wisdom and diligence and patience and intention. Ladies, I think that's one of the biggest things that I could probably get across to you today if I can. It is you have to live with intention. Not just letting life happen around you. You are the engine that is driving the life of your home. If you're just going to sit around and do nothing, guess what everybody else is going to do? They're going to sit around and do nothing. If this is your whole life, you live your entire life in this 5-inch digital screen, where do you think everybody else in your life is going to live? Put this down and stand up off the couch and stand up out from the kitchen table and do something and engage your whole family in it. All right, folks, it's time to cook dinner. All right, everybody get up. Everybody come in the kitchen. We're going to get this done. Family project. And once we cook, you're going to set the table. You're going to stir the beans. You're going to make sure that you don't burn yourself on anything, so just stand still. You're going to get the plastic cups and set them on the table. You're going to get ice. You're going to make sure that we've got this. You're going to get forks. And mom may not have to do anything except stand back and go, do this, do that. You do that. You do it. No, stop doing that. Go over there. Go. Honey, okay. Because you're making it happen. You don't have to necessarily be doing it, but you're making sure that it happens. And then you sit down together at the table and eat together. Braggers. But how valuable is that time? To sit down together at the table and just eat with no distractions. The TV's not on in the background. The phones are not out. Everything is quiet except maybe if you want some Christian music playing in the background, because you might sing along. You're going to pray together for your food. You're going to pray together over each other, and you're going to just be a family. And then when everybody's done eating, there is no, may I be excused, it's grab your plate, grab your fork, grab your cup, get it in the kitchen, and don't just leave it in the sink. Right, ladies? Don't just leave it. Wash it, put it away. If you do yours, you do yours, you do yours, help your sister. Get your own stuff done, because now we're sharing in this work. And I mean, somebody's got to clean pots and pans and stuff, and depending on what you made. But then we're going to do this together. And until we're all done, nobody's done. Until we're all done, nobody's done. We started together. We're going to finish together. One of my favorite running chants. C-H-A-N-T-S, chants, in the Marine Corps. We started together. We're going to finish together. Right? Motivated, ha, ha, motivated, ha, ha, dedicated, ha, ha, dedicated, ha, ha, motivated, dedicated, hoorah, hoorah. You know, you get it? But at some point, you make this about the team doing all these things, because then everybody learns how to do it all. And you've done that because you have good personal character. Proverbs 19:14 says, houses and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from the Lord. A prudent wife is from the Lord. Ladies, how do you pray for yourself? Do you pray for yourself? Besides just, Lord, help me. That's a valid prayer. It's a valid prayer. But sometimes it's, Lord, can you turn me into the wife that you want my husband to have? Can you turn me into the mother that you have planned for my children? Can you make me into the woman that you want me to be, that you have designed me to be, that you are going to bless me to be? Can you transform me supernaturally into the person that everyone in my family, everyone in my life, everyone in my church, everyone in my realm of contact needs me to be for you, even if that means I don't even exist anymore? My wants are irrelevant. Your wants are all that I need. I'm not going to try to pretend to be the best wife. I'm going to try to match my husband to give him what he needs, not try to force him to match mine. Because again, if guys are doing the same thing, it's supposed to work. June's coming. But a prudent wife is from the Lord. Have you prayed and asked God to make you like that? Number 5. Ooh, you ready for this one? I'm going to limber up a little bit. Her family has no complaints. Her family has no complaints about her. Proverbs 31:27, she looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. I mean, she's not sitting around idle. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but you excel at it. I mean, that's good. That's good. I mean, she's looking at all the ways of her household. She's not sitting around idle, and her children call her blessed. They look at their mother as being a blessing in their life. They look at this woman example that God has placed in their life, and they think that she is a blessing to them, and they tell her that. It's not just that they think that way, it's that her children rise up and call her blessed. She is a blessing from the Lord in my life. Oh, and her husband does the same thing too, and he praises her. I mean, and I'm not going to say this to put all the emphasis on the husband. Oh, guys, you got to be better at praising your wife. I'm not saying that till June. What I'm going to say is, ladies, what are you doing to receive praise from your husband that your husband's going to notice? Because we're thick and we don't hint well. We don't pick up on some of those little contextual clues a lot of times, but are you doing something that is so noticeable on behalf of your family, ladies, that you're being such a blessing that your husband can't help except give you praise for the things that you're doing by accident, because he's not going to do it on purpose. Because he's thick. He's just not going to think to do it. But when the guys are all standing around at work talking about their wives, and they're like, oh yeah, my old lady did this, my old lady did that, and man, I can't believe my wife was doing this, and she's just calling her all sorts of names, and you go, my wife is a blessing from God. I don't know who y'all ended up with. Mine is a blessing from God Almighty. And I just want to make sure y'all hear me say that. Church house, church family, church people, that woman right there is a blessing from God. You can talk about your wife all day long. You shouldn't, ever, unless it is to offer her praise, not because you have to, because, ladies, you are doing such a great job at everything that they don't have any other thing to say about you. They don't have any complaints. They don't have anything negative to say because you're doing it all right. And I'm not saying that, guys, you have to do this. No, I think you should still be honest. But your honesty should reflect the actual behavior of your spouse. Ladies, that's where you come in, where you have to be doing the honorable things so that your husband doesn't have anything to complain about. And neither do your children. Oh, man, my mom made me do my homework. Yeah, isn't it great? She wants me to succeed in life. Yeah, I had to eat a vegetable last night. Man, grow up big and strong like your dad? That would be amazing. Yeah, put your shoes on. Take your shoes off. Put your shoes on. Take your shoes off. Put your shoes on. Take your shoes. What do you want from me? You keep telling me to take them off and put them on. You got to learn the process, kid. You need them for some things and you don't need them for other things. This is a learning experience. Figure this out. Oh, they're going to forget the socks. I mean, that's just a given. But part of it, yeah, they're going to have wet socks. That's going to be fun too. But the point is, sometimes you can't just tell them what to do. You have to do it with them. You have to do it for them. You have to do it at the same time as them and say, all right, now it's time for the team to sit down together, and we're all going to put our socks on together, left one first. Why do we have to do the left one first? Because we're doing the left one first. But I don't want to do the right one. That's not what I said. We're doing the left one first. Because I need you to get in the habit to make sure you start with the left, in with the right, start with the left, in with the right, left, right, left, right, left. So, I'm telling you, boot camp was a crazy place. It was literally, now we're going to have boot lacing class. What do I mean by boot lacing class? You have to learn how to properly lace your boots. Because in everything, left over right. Because your left should always go over the top of the right, which means when you put your laces in, you have to do the right one first, because the left one comes over the top of it. Yes, they're going to check, and yes, you will fail inspection if you didn't do it right. And when you were standing at parade rest, you have your left over your right. Why? I don't know. Because then it's uniform, it's consistent, and everybody's doing the same thing at the same time so that you can tell if there's anything out of the ordinary. You can tell if there's a missing sock and whether it's the left or the right. All right. To the point of, you ever been told how to take a shower by a grown man? Ladies, I hope not. Some of us have. All right, you're going to take your soap. You're going to wash your nasty little bodies. You're going to start with your head. And I kid you not. Scrub, 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 scrub. Scrub, 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 scrub. Now you're washing your nasty little face. I need to get your nasty little ears. And move down to your neck. Now you got to wash. I'm telling you. I was 20 being told how to take a shower. And then to have to stand in line and get inspected on how well I did at taking a shower. Click. Pop. Sir, this recruit has nothing to report. I mean, it was just crazy, right? But if you drill it into your family at an early age, put on your socks here, take off your socks here. Put on your shoes here, take off your shoes here. Do the left one first, do the right one first. I'm sorry you're left-handed, this is going to be backwards for you. Do it that way anyway. Why? Because it's consistency, and every kid needs consistency, and moms have to be the ruler of consistency. Especially if you have one of those wonderfully blessed children that finds themselves anywhere on the spectrum, that consistency is going to help. I promise. All right. Family has no complaints. Number 6, last one. I know I'm going over. Please forgive me. Sorry, Sarah and Terry and Teresa. Number 6, she follows the Lord. Verse 30 and 31. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. Why? Favor is deceitful. Doing favors for people, doing nice things, it's deceitful. And beauty is vanity. Spending all of your time focusing on beauty and trying to make sure that you are getting compliments from people, that's a waste of time. But the woman that fears the Lord, she'll be praised. The woman that fears the Lord will be praised. Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. I've got one last sentence written on here, and it says, but what about raising children, reading to them and playing with them? Where did we mention anywhere in all of that you need to spend that much time with your kids? Like on the floor, rolling around, playing with your kids, building blocks. Where did any of those things were you focused on your children outside of training them and teaching them to be better human beings? There's not. Period. There's not. Because every single thing that we talked about in here is for child rearing. Every single thing that's in here is about how to raise good children. Every part of this says, be their mother, not their friend. Be their authority, not their friend. Be their responsible party, not their friend. Correct them when they're wrong. Don't do it with them. Be the example. Show them how. And fix it when it breaks. Correct it when it's wrong. Love them when they're hurting. But don't get into the spot where you find yourself trying to be like your children. It has to be the other way around. Has to be. You bring your children to the level that you're at. Not, I just like watching cartoons too. I just want to sit back and watch cartoons with my kids. You're not 9. Nothing wrong with watching cartoons, but if you are trying to live your life on a level so that you can relate to your kids, you're doing it backwards. You need to teach your kids how to relate to you as an adult. And what does that mean? As they are capable, and that is huge, as they are capable, I need you to talk to me like a grown-up. I don't need you to, I'm not going to talk to you, I'm not going to talk to you like a baby. I'm not going to do that. No, I need you to learn how to pronounce these words because I'm not going to teach you a speech impediment. I'm not going to drill into you how to talk like this because when you do, you're going to be 12 and you're going to be talking like this in school. Stop. No. I am going to teach you how to enunciate your words. I'm going to teach you how to make sure that you can speak to me, look me in the eye, and have a conversation with me. And I don't know what's going on. No, talk to me. I'm up here. That means you got to lift your head. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I love you. I'm with you. I'm in this with you. Talk to me. But talk to me like you're talking to an adult. Don't talk to me in Gen Y slang. Please. No cap. But bring, okay, boomer, right. But bring your children up to your level by doing all of these things, and stop letting TV raise your kids. Stop letting TikTok, good Lord, stop letting TikTok raise your kids. Stop letting the world control how your children interact with you. Teach them how you expect to be interacted with. And ladies, don't tell your husband to tell your kids how to interact with you. Do it yourself. Reinforce it for each other. Maybe even help your kids out a little bit. Hey, when dad comes home, before you drop that on him, you might want to take a little different approach. Because he hasn't had a great day either. Just because you didn't have a great day doesn't mean everybody else had a wonderful day and they're going to be able to deal with you. You didn't have a good day. Neither did he. Neither did I. Neither did the rest of the family. We all had a crappy day. So guess what we're going to do together? We're going to sit down, we're going to eat, we're going to breathe, and we're just going to shut up for a few minutes. Just going to be quiet. We're just going to eat. We're going to breathe. We're going to take a step, and we're going to go, okay. Dads, most of the time, you got to go first. Sorry. You have the bulk of the responsibility. Again, June's coming. To say, all right, I'm going to tell everybody, had a rough day at work. I didn't exactly follow the Lord. I wasn't a great example to my coworkers about how a godly man's supposed to be. I acknowledge that as the sin that I have in my life today. I'm going to repent of that. I'm getting that straightened out with God. I'm not going to let that affect how I deal with you guys because I love you. So please understand that I am a little bit sensitive right now. So it's going to be best if we kind of wade easily into some of these things. What have you just taught your children? It's okay to have a bad day. And it's okay to acknowledge your sin. It's okay to admit it. It's okay. You don't have to hide it. And moms especially, sometimes you have to process through it logically. That means probably following your husband's lead, and not let your emotions lead you down a path of destruction for your children. They're going to be plenty emotional all alone. They don't need you to help them be emotional. Sometimes mom has to say, okay, we both getting a little excited here. Okay. Breathe. Deep breath. Deeper. Deeper. Don't breathe till I tell you to stop. But you'd be surprised how just, I'm going to breathe for a count of 8. I'm going to hold it in for a count of 8. I'm going to exhale for the same count of 8. And I'm going to let myself process. I just took 30 seconds almost, if not at least 30 seconds before I reacted to this situation. Follow the Lord. All right, 12:10. People are going to be hunting me down. Let's do this. Not really a great way to give an invitation for this. Any bad moms, come on down. No, I'm not going to do that. I would never do that. But I am going to say this. Pray for each other. Husbands, pray for your wives. Pray for your wives for blessings from God. Pray for your wives everything positive and good that you could possibly want them to have. And moms, mothers, potential future mothers, ladies in general, just pray for each other, but pray for yourself that God would make you into the woman that He wants you to be. For your husband's sake, for your children's sake, for other people outside of your home's sake, and ultimately for His glory, not for yours. Bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, this has been quite a day. There's so much going on. I know we've got folks that are that are, right now, honestly, they're just missing their mothers. We've got folks that have lost people. We've got folks that are estranged from their kids and from their parents, and we've got some that are still blessed to have their moms in their life. We've got some that are waiting diligently to have kids at some point in their future, and they want to be a good mom. Others that are like, that's not for me. Lord, our women are so precious and so special, especially in this church. And I pray that you would bless them exactly the way that you would have them to be, and the things that they should receive from you, so that every life, every family, and ultimately this church and the kingdom of God are only benefited by the wonderful women that you've placed in our church. Lord, we love you. We pray these things today in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, well, if you can stand, I don't think we have a song to play on the way out today, so you're dismissed. Have a great afternoon and happy Mother's Day.